Day. So, my name is Daniel Nahmod. It is lovely to be back in sunny Ventura, coming all the way from sunny Santa Ana. And for better or worse, you're going to hear a lot of my songs today. But let's reserve judgment. And then so let's start with this song. It's called Get Ready, My Soul. Some of you may have heard it or sung it before. So settle into your chair. Get comfy, if you weren't already. And here's how the song goes. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Let's sing the chorus again from the chorus. You guys ready? Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love, to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. If you have the lyric with you there. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here, boom, to the present moment, here, to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Once more, get ready, my soul. I'm diving in, get ready, my soul. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love, to the deepest kind of love, the sweetest kind of life, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, ready my soul.
Nice job, guys. Perfect.
Thank you, Daniel, and welcome everybody. Welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. So in this beautiful, beautiful morning, in this cave called the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living, let's greet one another. And so let us continue to breathe deeply and be in that spaciousness of knowing and surrender. As we relax, let go, and listen to the words of our sacred reading.
Surrender, a poem by Jalaluddin Rumi. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. When actions come from another sector, the feeling disappears. Don't let others lead you. They may be blind, or worse, vultures. Reach for the rope of God. And what is that? Putting aside self-will. Because of willfulness, people sit in jail. The trapped bird's wings are tied. Fish sizzle in the skillet. If you could leave your selfishness, you would see how you've been torturing your soul. We are born and live inside black water in a well. How could we know what an open field of sunlight is? Don't insist on going where you think you want to go. Ask the way to the spring. Your acts of surrender will form a harmony. There is a moving palace that floats in the air, with balconies and clear water flowing through. Infinity everywhere.
And so it is. And so we are that infinite being, that I am presence, that is the name of God. And as we sing together, I am remembering who I am, let us be aware that we are shifting our awareness away from the cares of the world, but shifting our awareness, turning inwardly to see the beauty that lies within us, that ultimately allows us to see the entire world in wholeness and beauty and love. Let us use this chant to reawaken ourselves and participate in the awakening of the entire planet. I am remembering who I am. And in this beautiful space of remembrance, remembering the I am presence that is who I am, who we are, and who is everything. The omnipresence of the I am. Let us bring this awareness into our open-eyed state as we breathe in deeply and then exhale, gently opening our eyes, loving what is as it is, and so it is.
My share of struggle, thought that I knew best, and I've sailed through a storm instead of stopping to rest. But it always seems the hardest when I've made up my stubborn mind. Well, I'm changing my ways this time. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Have you ever seen an eagle head straight into the wind? He doesn't pick a fight, spreads his wings and just gives in. And in the end he always makes it home just fine. Yes, he knows that every storm subsides. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I'll let nature take its course. No more thinking that I know where this river's meant to go. I have railed against the stars for the cards that I've been dealt, for the lottery I've never won, for the heartache that I've felt. But it always seems when I let go of expectation and regret, life has plenty of surprises for me yet. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. Wanna be like water coming down a mountain into shadowy canyons, flowing from pool to stream. Wanna be like water, head uphill no more. I am bound for the sea. I am a recovering child of lawyers. And as such, was not raised to write a song like that. Actually, I wasn't raised to write songs at all, let's be honest. I was raised to go to law school. I was raised to balance my checkbook and pay my taxes and stop at red lights and stop signs and go the speed limit and be a nice boy and get a good job and wear nice clothes, much nicer than I wear to work now. And I was not raised to write songs about going with the flow. We didn't go with the flow in my family. So something weird had to happen in my brain. Although actually I think it happened kind of early on. I'm not sure I was ever with the program. I'm sure no one in this family, no one in this room feels like they were never quite with the program. You all were probably really straight arrows. But for me, changing from pretending to be a computer programmer like I did, I was an economics major in college, switched over to making music for a living, which just could not be less certain of a livelihood. In fact, I've often said that there's no way I would have done it if I'd known how unlikely it would be that I would have made a living. And in fact, I tell parents sometimes with their little kids, they want to do this or that, creative, artistic, I say, just don't tell them that it's almost impossible. Don't even plant the seed, and they'll they'll burn their ships when they land in the new world, and they'll dive in and they'll get it done. But if they realize that it's almost inconceivable, it's a real stopper. right? Anyway, so since 1998, when I arrived in Los Angeles to make a living making music, I have been taking chances. That the chorus you guys said out loud, "Here goes nothing, I'm taking a chance." That's really been my lifestyle, and it's more or less exhausting and maddening on a 24-hour basis, because there really is no sure thing at all. There is no 401k. There is no paycheck every 2 weeks. There is no salary. There's what I make happen. So it's not like this was a foreign concept to me, living on the edge, so to speak, in that way. And a lot of you, I'm sure, are artists of different kinds, and you can relate. You're thinking, yeah, there's no sure thing at all. But I dove deeper into the idea in an unexpected way and in an unexpected place, which is what I came to talk to you today a little bit about, and this afternoon again. And that is a place which might appear to be the last place on earth you would write songs about water, which is the high desert. I was in a very stressed, chaotic, cranky place in the peace and quiet of Los Angeles. After 7 years of making music for a living and succeeding more or less, but I noticed that I was cranky. And there was kind of no excuse for being cranky. I was doing what I love to do. I was sleeping late. I was writing my own songs. I was singing. I was making records. I mean, it was a pretty good life. But cranky, I found, is a real red flag. Or easily crankified. You know what I mean? I was easily crankified. For a bunch of years, I wasn't. Nothing could stop me. I was, none of those slow drivers she mentioned earlier. No, that wouldn't bother me. But then it started bothering me. So I heeded it because I remembered that when I was pretending to do somebody else's dream job, when I was in the computer programming thing, and it was a dream job in someone else's dream, no question. But what I remembered the discontent and the crankification. So I didn't ignore it, right? That's the only thing I'll really take credit for, is I didn't ignore the discontent. Because I knew that I had tried to talk myself out of the discontent before as a computer programmer and had miserably failed. Instead, eaten myself to obesity and taken pills for depression and fought with everybody I knew and didn't get along with my family. It was just miserable back then. Lying for a living was very, very painful and probably tripled my age, my aging, and it was just really tough. I imagine somebody in this room is relating, right? No, I'm serious. I'm saying it, I don't often say it, so somebody in this room is hearing me. Okay, so fast forward 7 years of making a living making music, I didn't ignore the discontent, and instead I dropped out of Los Angeles, painful as that is, and it's such a lovely place, and I moved to a place that I remembered being quiet and pretty. That's all I remembered about it. I had driven through a little town called Moab in Utah on my way from Chicago to make a living making music. From Chicago all the way across, I stopped at 15 national parks. I'm a junkie for national parks, and drove south and through Red Rock Country in Utah. Remembered this little town of Moab. So I called up Moab Property Management out of the blue and said, "Can I rent a house?" And she said, "When?" And I said, "How about January through March?" This is a few years ago now. She said, "Well, you could drive into town, point at a house that you want to rent, and it'll be available January through March." Because Moab is Red Rock country. It is beyond beautiful, indescribably beautiful, but everybody leaves in the winter. It's packed in the summer. In my heart, I feel like it's tragically packed in the summer with a lot of beer bottles and four-wheelers and that kind of stuff. But in the winter, a 5,000 person town goes to 1,000. Main Street pretty much shuts down, and the national parks, Arches and Canyonlands National Parks, and the state parks around there are empty. Now, I didn't know that. So I rented a house, sight unseen, January through March, and moved into this little house and sat down on the couch and wondered what the hell I was doing there. And I started writing songs, right? I laid out under the stars in Arches National Park on the main road for an hour at midnight with no sign of life around me except one owl every so often would hoo. This room, that's not quiet. What I heard in Moab, that was quiet. I mean, no people, no planes, no cars, no animals, no wind, nothing for hours. I took naps on arches in Arches National Park that you see on the license plate of Utah. I took a nap at that arch for 2 hours and was the only person there. And a place that gets 1 million visitors a year, right? But they all come starting March or April, and all are gone by November or December. So I started writing songs, and like a snow globe that's all shaken up, my first 10 or 15 or 20 songs were pretty cranky and screamy and loud and fun. They're fun, but I was clearly venting. And then the snow started settling in the globe, and the quiet outside became the quiet inside. And I started writing songs. I started writing songs like this. What do I do if I'm not chasing anything? What do I do if I've got everything that I need? It's a question that no one's prepared me to answer. Where do I go if I'm right where I'm supposed to be? Where do I go if wherever I am home? It's a mystery. No one can give me an answer. If the usual way doesn't work anymore, if there's no map for what life has in store, what if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before it even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over, what then? What do I say if it's all perfect anyway? What do I say if I'm not here to change anyone? It's a question I truly don't know how to answer. How do I live if my life is eternity? How do I live if I'm no longer afraid to die? It's a mystery. No one can give me an answer. If the usual way doesn't work for me now, well, that's a void I know nothing about. What if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before it even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over, what then? What is the purpose of time here on earth? How do I now define my death and birth? For that matter, what is my life really worth in the end? What's mine to give and what's mine to receive? Whom do I worship? What do I believe? It seems every answer comes right back to me in the end. What if the race is over and we all automatically win? What if the game is ended long before even begins? What if the test has been taken and we're all passing again and again? If the race is over and we're all born victorious, if the race is over, what then? Over time, it was more than just the silence that sank in, though. There was a message coming to me from this water, and again, as a child of 2 lawyers, it took a couple months. Right? Now, I was already, as I said, I was already kind of living on the edge, more or less, but I was still ambitious. Right? I was driving. I was in charge. And when it worked, I took credit. When it didn't work, I took blame. And how it turned out was up to me. Does it sound familiar to anybody? And that was exhausting. But I kept at it. And then I spent 3 months in Red Rock country. Now, water there's not a lot of water there. There is the Colorado River that runs outside of Moab, and that's it. The rest of it is super, super dry. Everything ekes out a life there at this moment in time. However, Moab used to be underwater. Now, when I say used to be, I mean, as far as geologists know, and they don't, but they try, Moab's been underwater thousands of times over the course of the history of the earth. Thousands of times it's been an ocean, and then thousands of times it's been a desert. At one point in the Arches National Park walk, a park ranger said, it's thought that there was approximately a mile of rock above where we are standing right now. Now, does anybody have a fountain in your yard with pebbles in it? Think about how long the fountain would have to go for a pebble to disappear, right? You live an entire life and the pebble is essentially exactly the same size, right? So then try to imagine, and we can't, a mile of rock wearing away from nothing but water and time, right? Then I've spotted this, well, you can't miss spotting it. It's called Balanced Rock in Arches National Park. It's a boulder. Picture a boulder on an egg stand. Right? That's what Balanced Rock looks like. And you can walk basically around the base of it, and it looks like if you sneeze in its direction, it's coming down. Right? So I'm looking at this boulder, and it's very impressive and exciting and amazing and cool, and it catches light and it makes for great pictures. It looks a little like E.T.'s head, if you've never seen it. Go home and Google Balanced Rock Arches, and you'll say, yeah, it does look a little like E.T. Anyway, so on the sign, as you start the little 3/4 mile loop around Balanced Rock, around the base of it, it says that the rock is estimated to weigh 3,500 tons. Just the boulder. So I'm standing there, and of course, I had 3 months where I was reportable basically to no one. Right? Almost no one on earth knew where I was. I had cleared my schedule to hear what I was to hear. Thank you. So I had time. I had time. So I stood at this sign and I thought about this. This one boulder weighs 3,500 tons, 7 million pounds, right? And then you glance around the vista, and it's a very broad vista at that point, and everywhere you look, there is rock. Boulders of every size, and cliffs, 1,000-foot high, sheer rock, red rock cliffs, right? And then I started thinking, I obsess over gaining 5 pounds. How pathetic pathetically narcissistic of me to think that 5 pounds, admittedly, it's almost entirely chocolate, but well, it's Ben and it's Jerry, so I think of it. How unbelievably self-absorbed do I have to be to think that adding 5 pounds to my little mushy organic body matters at all? Like, am I the only person in this room who feels this way about body weight? Probably not, you know. And then I started thinking about age. My bubby, my dad's mom, died at 98, which felt pretty old, right? Well, the Earth is thought to be 4 or 5 billion years old, right? The red rocks that I could see out the back window of the house I rented were estimated to be 300 million years old. Just the rocks that I was looking at, right? And then I started thinking, maybe I don't have that much time. Maybe 98 isn't old by almost any measure on Earth. Maybe 98 years. In fact, there are bushes in Arches National Park that show up in pictures when people settled Arches, right? Juniper bushes. And they're in the background where people are standing. And those spots are still trackable. You can still see where they're standing. And they track now, scientists compare the bush from 100 years ago when people first walked into Arches area to now. And they've grown so little that they now estimate that some of those bushes are 1,000 years old, right? So, again, how seriously am I taking myself? And then I started thinking, all these thoughts came, right, while I'm in Moab. Then I started thinking, if I had been here 1 billion years ago and had been watching the ocean recede from this place, or the ocean come in, or a huge blizzard that pounded this place with frozen water that chipped away the rock, I would have, if it was America now, can't fault America, but if I was in the U.S., if I was in the Army Corps of Engineers, we would have called it an emergency and a disaster, and we would have built walls around the rock to keep it there, if I built a house there or whatever it is. You know, I was just in Florida and I told the story and it's a little sensitive, you know, because you're building houses in hurricane tornado zones, and, you know, so we call them disasters when these things happen. And then fast forward 1 billion years and people are lining up to take a picture of the result. Right? So was it a disaster or was it simply life happening? Anybody here ever feel like they were living a disaster? So was it a disaster or was it life happening? Another thing I started thinking was, this place, and I mean, it's beautiful. It's seriously beautiful. If you've never gone to a handful of the national parks in the western United States, if you haven't gone, a friend of mine likes to say the only way to go on a cruise to Alaska is to book the ticket. Block out a little bit of time and go. Your eyes won't believe what you see. The Grand Canyon is that special. Yellowstone National Park is that special. If that's all I achieve today is one person comes to me in a year and says, I took a tour of Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument and Zion and Bryce and Arches, that will make me so happy I don't even have words, right? So here's my question to you. The river that runs through, the Colorado River, carving the Grand Canyon, did it have a to-do list? Did it make a 10-point plan? Right? Nothing you see in Arches, you show up, and I mean, sorry to use the word film, no one will even understand what I'm talking about. You burn a lot of film walking around that place. It's spectacular. Not a single inch of it was planned. No meetings, no budget, no regulations, no paperwork, right? So I started thinking, man, I work hard at planning the outcome of everything I do, as if I'm actually in charge. And that's kind of cute, and it keeps me busy. But am I actually in charge? Do I need to be in charge? If spectacular things happen, like that beautiful reading, right? If spectacular things happen as soon as I stop pretending to be in charge. And so this workshop this afternoon is a 2-hour thought process. I sing a few songs, read a few quotes from the Tao and a couple other places, and ask you questions, and we talk about them. That's it. I'm sure I'm the only person in this room who might categorize him or herself as a cerebral person, or a control freak, or a maker of lists, or a taker of credit, or an absorber of blame. But if I'm not the only person who categorizes him or herself that way, you're invited to come. It's very simple, quiet, calm couple hours, nothing too intense, no standing in a circle holding hands and singing Kumbaya. But I'll sometimes say that it may be the only thing I've ever thought that when I share it could change someone's life, right? So if you're sitting there thinking, this isn't true, I absolutely am in charge. I must be in control. How my kid turns out is my credit or blame, right? How my business turns out is my credit or blame. If I don't stay up all night worrying about my marriage, then it will fail, right? Anybody relate about worry? Anyway. That is a very abbreviated set of the lessons that I learned in Moab. It became a CD called Water, and it became I call it a water consciousness, and it has guided everything I have not decided to do since. So, as one of the songs I'll sing this afternoon, I can't sing today, but one of the songs is called Where the Ocean Says to Go. I go where the ocean says to go. I've relaxed my hands. I'm not a master of it. Oh, not even close. So you're watching a hypocrite talk about this right now. But I find that even dabbling in it, even working in a water consciousness inadequately, lets me sleep better, breathe deeper, love bigger, laugh louder, make more money, write better songs, have a better marriage, be better with my beautiful little boy, Jude, who is in fact the world's most beautiful baby, in case you're wondering. So even dabbling in the notion of relaxing my hands off the steering wheel, just toying with it makes a difference. Nobody has ever mastered this kind of surrender. No one, as far as I'm concerned. There are better and worse, practitioners of it, but no one's ever gotten it 100%. And that's not the point. For God's sake, that would be its own form of pressure, right? So let me sing you one more song to close, and I hope you'll come back this afternoon. Thank you for having me. Here we go. No, sorry. That's right. I'm through asking where I'm going. I've been asking all my life. I've grown tired of all this wondering when everything seems to turn out right. So when my mind needs something to do, wants to know the future, I whisper this: I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way. Sing that with me. I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be, and I'll always be that way. So here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up And here goes everything. It's all on the line. But I'm not afraid this time. Some say it's crazy, some say naive, to close my eyes and take the leap. But I know better, 'cause I believe even in the dark my soul can see. So when my mind plays its usual games, oh, my answer is always the same. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. And here goes everything. It's all on the line. But I'm not afraid this time. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. And here goes everything. It's all on the line. But I'm not afraid this time. No, I'm not afraid this time. No, I'm not afraid this time. 'Cause I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way. I'm okay. I've always been. I've always been, and I'll always be, and I'll always be that way.
And so let's just take a moment and turn within and just breathe in and breathe out. In case you haven't been breathing, just go ahead and get that done. And I just have to acknowledge Lonnie for saying that she was mad at daylight savings time. So we'll just let that go. And in this beautiful, beautiful morning of surrender and letting go and being with one another, I just give such great thanks for this beautiful community that has come together to celebrate this divine mystery that we call Spirit, that we call God, that we call love. And I know that love has done its perfect work through us this morning without our controlling it, without our making an effort. We have simply showed up and made ourselves available to love. And I am so certain that love is doing its perfect work within us, its perfect play within us, and that our lives are better because of the time that we have spent together today. And so I'll speak in the first person, saying some affirmations using I am, but together we know that I am is the name of all of us. It is the name of the universe. It is the name of the earth. And so together let us know these truths. I am whole. I am perfect. You can repeat after me if you like. I am perfect. I am love. I am loving. I am giving and receiving. I am grace. I am peace. I am joy. breathing into this truth, breathing into this knowing that if it is true for those of us sitting here in this sacred sanctuary, it is true for the entire earth. And so we reach our arms of love around to bless people in different countries and different planets and different states of being. We trust that the work of God is doing its perfect unfolding through all circumstances. And we bless that, and we name that good, and we rest in this blessed assurance. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for the perfection of this morning. I give thanks for all of the powerful transformation that has occurred through each of us. I give thanks for the blessing and uplifting of our perfect and beautiful whole world. I bless this teaching. I bless this center. I bless all paths to God, churches, temples, mosques, and ashrams. I bless fundamentalists and atheists, for I know that everyone is a blessing. And I bless myself. I bless this beautiful, sweet, earnest being that shows up in each of us, trying to do its best and trying to show up and being that life of God. And so with a heart that is so filled with gratitude and so filled with blessing, I say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, God. And I release these words into the divine mystery. And together we say, and so it is.
One more song. I filed this under songs I wish I wrote. So I'd be wearing much more expensive pants if I had. When I mentioned that this time in Moab changed the way I am, and it really has permeated everything since then. And when my baby boy was born, I made a little album in his honor of some of the sweetest pop songs that I knew. And looking back, they're all about trust and I'm okay, I've always been, and I'll always be that way. And this is how the album opens. So I thought I'd sing it for you to say that to you one more time. Thank you again. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Woke up this morning, smiled at the rising sun. 3 little birds were by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops, and that's where you'll find me somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can't I? Woke up this morning, the rising sun, three little birds were by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, a melody pure and true, singing, baby, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about